All right, back again. That was fast. We've got a new tornado warning in effect for the same area. We were showing you earlier on radar that I was very concerned about the fact that, let me just put this to one panel and make it simple, we have more rotation showing up in generally the same area as the first tornado that came in about an hour ago. This one had a pretty good hook echo on it again. It was very close to the Merrimack area. Once again, you can see as I zoom it in here, this was our hook echo just a little farther to the northwest, maybe by a mile or two, north of I-81. This was only radar indicated, but it's still in effect until another 9 minutes, till 8:15. They're going to continue that tornado warning. It was located over Blacksburg, moving north at 20. The same storm vector, the same exact path. That is unbelievable. Still over the same area. This is a look at the velocity data. You can see not as much green on this, not as much brightness to it, but certainly some rotation very close to the bypass. There's 460 bypass here. As it's nearing Blacksburg, it's going to once again cross that same general area. So there's probably, it may be illuminated by lightning, but there's probably a wall cloud or a funnel cloud in this as it nears the Virginia Tech campus for the second time. Do not confuse yourself here. This is not the original tornado warning that just expired. As soon as that one lifted, we had a second storm develop rotation, and now a third is developing here. Folks, this is one of the bigger severe weather outbreaks that you will see in the area of Virginia, because we are seeing areas of rotation develop, and I wouldn't be surprised if a second tornado warning isn't issued soon for this part of Montgomery County. So there are two potential tornadoes. There's really one here. There's another one out behind this one to the north of Blacksburg. And then as you go to Christiansburg, there is a third new area that has developed. No warning on that one just yet, but they may put a warning out. It looks just as impressive as the other two tornadoes warnings that they've had to put out, moving to the northeast at 20. So that covers, again, that same area of Montgomery County. I guess the good news is you've already gotten to your safe spot, hopefully, and you just need to return to your safe spot, unfortunately. And let your friends know, don't be confused by this. This is a new tornado warning that continues for the area. I do not see a lot of debris, but I do see potential that we had something kicked up by some wind. We've got a report, by the way, from our friends at WSLS here on the chat. Chris Michaels says there's a tree down in a parking lot behind the cellar. They've got a reporter there on the scene. The cellar, of course, being that restaurant right there across from Tech. I've been there several times. Cellar's okay, but there's a tree down on the car in the parking lot of the cellar. And now they're hunkering down for their second tornado warning, which just passed the Blacksburg area right now, out toward the Smart Highway here. Now it's moving into 460, right where it meets right back up with Business 460 there. So still seeing some rotation there. Not as much, but it's still there. There are different kinks here of rotation. We've got another one north of Merrimack. Really, this is dying off. If you want to count them, there's one weakening area here. Let's see, right there. A little bit of spin there. There's another area that has prompted the warning on the north end of Blacksburg, moving northeast at 20. There's another area, small area of rotation that is now developed. And rotation doesn't mean tornado, but it can mean the storm is trying to get a tornado going. North of Merrimack, there is a fourth area of rotation southwest of Merrimack, and it's just northeast of Christiansburg. 1, 2, 3, 4 areas of spin just within this one group of storms that continue developing. And the reason is we've got enough instability, we've got a lot of spin in the atmosphere, and now we're seeing on that latest radar scan, I don't see as impressive as rotation as I did before in this area of Blacksburg. So still obey the warning and respect the warning there. Still some lightning and some heavy rain in this, no doubt. But the new area of rotation that has caught my interest is outside of the original polygon, and that one's in effect. That one's in a not a polygon, but this current warning is not covering this new area of rotation. So we may see a third tornado warning come out for Montgomery County. I know I definitely see some rotation there, and this one's a little bit farther to the southeast, just east of Merrimack. So Elliston, Lafayette, you may want to watch out here, north of Shawsville, north of I-81, and northeastern Montgomery County. There's also some rotation, and I'm just spotting these for you here. There's also some rotation in Roanoke County, just to the north of Salem. I can see some spin here. Let's go to storm relative rotations. There we go. There's no warning out for this one yet, but there's some spin just to the north of Salem. It's moving toward Catawba. I'll let you know if there's a warning for that. Brent says they got a report of a large tree limb down on Happy Valley Road in Blacksburg from the first warned storm. So there, he's going to put out a picture of that later. So got a couple of reports from our TV stations in the area of some damage from straight line winds, possibly the tornado in and around the Blacksburg. Now, as we look upstream here, I'm looking for any other signs of spin. Let me go back to the basic reflectivity, just from rain falling here. Most of the spins occurring from Floyd County into Montgomery County with this particular system. And again, we had the storm reports, and you'll see more damage reports coming in, but this is the current warning that's in effect. Here it is on our 3D radar view here. Let me see if I can get the roads on here for you. Turn that on. So there you see where 460 is relative to this. And again, it's kind of being clouded right now, but you can pick up right here. There's a new area, kind of a hook. You see that little indentation there? That little squiggly that's on the south side of that polygon that was put into effect a few minutes ago. Now, the good news in all this is that the National Weather Service has now expired on the tornado warning for that cell. They're telling me that the rotation on that cell has come down quite a bit. We watched that here, didn't we? So they're going to let that warning expire. But there is another area of rotation that was popping up. It's still showing up there in the green east of Merrimack. Looks like that one's come down a little bit too. But you can see that was near Christiansburg. Wouldn't be surprised if folks saw some kind of wicked looking rotating wall cloud or something out of the Christiansburg area. Brittany, South Boston, you were under the tornado watch until 3 o'clock in the morning with the rest of us. It looks pretty active even in all parts of the area tonight. You can see how these two warnings, the one that was warned looks just as impressive as the one that wasn't warned just to the southeast of Merrimack. So I want to tell you about this environment that we're in, because it's hard to really tell you that one particular area of rotation is the big one to watch. There are so many little showers that are starting to spin that that's why we've kind of broad brushed the entire area with a tornado watch, because at any time one of these little showers will start spinning and produce rotation that's strong enough to issue a tornado warning. And so throughout the night tonight, you need to make sure your cell phone is able to wake you up with those WIA alerts. Most of your phones already come with that unless you turn them off. It works differently than cell phone data. It doesn't take any of your data up. It'll go off really loud. Make sure that's still on, and that's going to jolt you out of bed. Weather radios. Get on my Twitter. You can see all the alerts coming through. As I mentioned, I've had a few new followers, and I appreciate that. Even little special weather statements we need to pay attention to. Here's the lightning that's coming toward the Roanoke Valley area. Heads up in Roanoke. That one cell there still looks pretty nasty, just on the outskirts of Salem. A little bit of a hook there with that, a little bit of rotation, not strong enough to prompt the warning as of yet, but it's certainly spinning. And on this latest image, I can still see some spin occurring just to the east of Blacksburg. I didn't have my, and there's your remaining spin that's no longer a warning out for the polygon. They canceled the warning just a few minutes ago, but it's still there. It could cycle back up at any point. Still looking at that. Now down here in the green, we'll be looking for red areas. You can see down in southern Pulaski County, there's a little bit of an area there. Let's see if that's actually associated with anything, and it's not. You have to kind of be careful sometimes, not just to look for one or two things. You have to look at all these different products that I went to school for and studied all this. And now I'm looking in the Craig County. I want to see, that looks kind of interesting here. Paint Bank, Newcastle. This is a very mountainous area. We normally don't think about tornadoes, but you're also under a tornado watch. Heavy rain is increasing in eastern Montgomery County, east of Blacksburg and Christiansburg. I-81, got to be a mess. Trying to drive, probably some hydroplaning going on there near exit 118 as you come down out of Christiansburg and head into Elliston, Lafayette, into Roanoke County. Certainly some very dangerous weather. I would not advise traveling tonight because of that. These cells are popping up so fast. Just to give you an idea, that first warning that came out in Carroll County, I was prepping to go on the air. The second warning we got on the air with the confirmed tornado about an hour and a half ago. Then once I got off the air from that, as soon as I hit the end button, a new tornado warning came out, and that's the one that I'm just finishing covering. And I'm staying on because I think at any time we may get some more information here coming in. So we'll hang here for a moment. Smooth the radar a little bit, make it a little easier to see. But I do like to look at the individual pixels when I'm looking for particular tornadoes, because smoothing the radar isn't really the true radar. Like on your app, it's remapped and smoothed. This is a way of actually looking at the actual data, same data the National Weather Service is looking at. A lot of thunder and lightning, just some very bad storms here in general sense. Some gusty storms, probably winds gusting up to 30, 40 miles per hour, sub-severe, but they're producing a lot of torrential rain. And that's the other factor we're going to have to watch tonight, is flooding and flash flooding. You can see that one cell, as it moved out of Blacksburg, became outflow dominant. That means the cooler rain kind of helped it choke off the updraft. But here's the thing, with tropical air, it's got so much humidity and moisture in it. Even with cooler air, it's able to offset the coolness and still add buoyancy to the atmosphere. People think of, when it's very humid outside, and you're thinking, oh, this air's so sticky and heavy. It's actually lighter, because you add a water molecule to it, and it's actually lighter. If you go to a baseball game and it's a really humid day, those home runs will be more frequent because the air is lighter, and the softball or the baseball could travel through it better. It's the dry air that's actually heavier. So this air that's over us now is very tropical because of Ida. It came off the Gulf of Mexico, brought all that devastation down to our south, but it brought the air from down there up too. So there's a tremendous amount of water in the air. So when we get these storms that are developing, they're what we call efficient rain producers. They can put down 1 to 4 inches of rain in a real quick amount of time. And we're going to have to watch also for flash flooding in this Montgomery County area and for the rest of the area as well. I'm singling out the areas of rain and just showing you the very heavy areas of rain on the KDP product. Is something I like to look at for that. But you can see we've got some very heavy rainfall rates down through here in Montgomery County as well. And with already saturated ground in some areas, there will be more flooding problems as we head through the night tonight. The bigger system is still quite a ways away. I'm going to zoom out, show you that the whole area is under a tornado watch. That's the red kind of pulsating area. This includes most of the area, south side into Franklin County, Bedford, Lynchburg, Lexington, all the way up to Harrisonburg, Charlottesville, and coming right up into I-64 and Christiansburg and Harrisonburg, Woodstock, Middleton, and that also includes Culpeper, Charlottesville. That's until 3 o'clock in the morning. Orange, Luray is under the tornado watch. Farmville is under the tornado watch. Does not include South Hill and Mecklenburg County, but your day may come tomorrow for that. No warnings in effect, but this is the tornado watch. Let me zoom it all out, and I want to show you the overall picture while I'm on the air here. This is our base reflectivity. And let me make that jump out a little bit better. All right, I'll put that in motion. Over the past 6 hours, you can see the warnings are loading there and the watch is loading up. But this is Ida, still remnants or a tropical depression, if you want to call it that. But there's still circulation there, and this will take a second to load. You can see the warnings there loading first. But if there's a spot that we need to watch, it's our area. And by that I mean western North Carolina, southwest Virginia into central Virginia, even northern Virginia, and then eventually eastern Virginia and Richmond tomorrow. The circulation's back in through here. There's your swirl, but it's going to move something like this. And so you're going to continue to see these bands of storms develop in the warm air, and these will be spinning. But you're also going to have this area up here and through West Virginia, Northern Virginia, Southeast Pennsylvania, and even into Ohio, Kentucky, and Tennessee, where you can see that we've got kind of a deformation zone where the rain's being kind of pushed together. So there's going to be some flooding, and we already had real bad flooding in Buchanan County, Virginia. We're going to have more of that tonight, unfortunately. There is kind of a dry slot on the back edge of this that may give us some sunshine tomorrow, but that's actually a bad thing because it increases the potential for instability. But still, the bigger threat tomorrow is going to be a little bit farther to the east of the mountains. But tonight, it's southwest Virginia. And we'll turn the satellite picture for you on. This is the upper level water vapor. It kind of shows that dry air there in red. But you can still get rain and storms within that, but most of the moisture will be out ahead of that. So that's your dry slot. But your dry slot can also add to the severe potential too. Notice that in southern Alabama and in southern Georgia, we've got 2 tornado warnings near Dothan and 1 near Albany. This is because of the instability that's created by that dry, heavy air aloft that wants to go down and the moist air wants to go up. So even in these bands that are coming through the upstate of South Carolina, through greater Georgia, Atlanta, and into Columbia and Charlotte, South Carolina, we also have to watch for the potential for tornadoes. But the big problem that I see that's enhancing our severe threat tonight in the Virginia area is this front, or this trough. And you probably have a hard time seeing it, but the Weather Prediction Center has analyzed it right there. And that is analyzed because you've got a wind difference at the surface. You've got winds that are coming in, and I'll put some of the winds up on the screen, and we'll take off some of the other observations here, the radar observations. We'll take those off for a second. So if you look, you've got wind from the northeast in Lynchburg, wind from the northeast in Roanoke, and from the northeast even in Wytheville. But you've got wind that's coming in out of the south and out of the southeast in Winston-Salem and in Danville and in Raleigh. So your front's right here. That inherently develops spin along that little boundary. It's almost like a little warm front. But in this case, it's warm on both sides of it, but it's still a wind shift. So if I'm a thunderstorm and I come, developing off here and you start ingesting, start getting warm air into this thing, you're going to see potential for tornadoes right along that boundary especially. You may have a shower down here in North Carolina. As it crosses this boundary, it may tighten the updraft in the circulation, and that's what we've been seeing all night tonight. So no warnings out right now, but we can have them at any time. I'll continue to watch it for you on TikTok, on YouTube, on Twitter, and I believe we're on Instagram now as well. But please stay weather aware and have multiple ways of getting warnings.